G'day, Andy from Single Malt. Today I'm going to do Glendeveron. So this is a whiskey from the Highlands, so it claims, but its geographic location looks pretty much like it's in Speyside. So, could be one or the other or both. I'll let Scottish geographers argue over where it is exactly. But it's claiming to be a Highland whiskey, so I'll give it the benefit. But it is a very eastern distillery, close to the sea, north facing, and it's a distillery that was built in the 1960s. It was purchased from the Duff family, the land, sorry, was purchased from the Duff family. So you might see Macduff single malt whiskey, which would be distilled at this distillery, but these days, even though the name of the distillery has flipped and flopped since 1960, the distillery is called Macduff, but the original bottling, or the official bottling, is called Glendeveron. And if an independent bottler, such as a supermarket chain or a dedicated independent bottler, buys casks, they need to call this whiskey Macduff. So if you do see a Macduff on the shelf, you'll know that it's from Glendeveron, but actually they call it Macduff Distillery. So that's really clear and not confusing at all. So I hope you follow that. The owners of this distillery are Dewar's. Dewar's obviously make Dewar's blended whiskey, and it's one of the big 5 or so of the blended whiskies, and 90% of the Glendeveron ends up in that blended whiskey. So that doesn't leave much for single malt. So we're pretty lucky to get some. And this is a 10-year-old. And there's other expressions that are available. You might see them in duty-free shops if you're going through Heathrow or one of the European airports. I love this line on the back. This has been aged exclusively in reserved oak casks. And you can tell them because they've got the little reserved things on them, the little signs that say they're reserved. I love the way marketers talk about cask, hand-selected. Oh, I'll have that one and that one. Like, what? They have to find an adjective to describe their casks. Anyway, that's my pet hate. I'd rather they said American oak casks, or a combination of sherry butts and American oak barrels. But no, these ones are exclusively reserved. Not just any old reserved, they're exclusively reserved. Oh, let's have a look. So it's got a little bit of a bronzy colour. I'm hopeful. That might mean it's got some sherry in it. That colour would suggest so. It doesn't seem to be saying caramel on the label, so it might very well be. I have some second fill sherry barrels. Let's have a look. They're not going to be first fill because the colour's not intense enough. I reckon there is. Yeah, I can smell some grapey characters, some plums and prunes and sultanas. Oh, I love that stuff. It's got a real nuttiness in it as well, like a almond meal, friand. Bit of that. Actually, yeah, that's not a bad descriptor. Friand. Oh, I like friands. Good with coffee. Now all I can think about is friands. Yum. Wow. Okay. Bang. Big punch of butterscotch. Lots of flavour. It's got astringency with sweetness. I know that sounds strange, doesn't it? Sweet and astringent. But it is. There's this... it's a balance. It is. It's in balance of sweetness and astringency. Good dryness, and finishes nice and clean. Some lovely warmth. Maybe a bit of smoke. Yeah, just a touch of smokiness through there as well. It's it's a really nice whiskey to drink, actually. I can see why you'd use it in a blend, because it's got a lot of richness, and you could break that down with some plain spirit, with some industrial spirit. But yeah, so it's a lot more powerful than a blend, and it's got some really nice richness as well, with that little bit of just a hint of smoke and some nice touches of the sherry butt coming through. But the predominant flavour, or I'd say the predominant oaking, is American, and the second fill sherry. But not a good drink.